So hello, everyone.
Bonjour tout le monde.
Hello, good evening. And thank you very much for having registered for this very important conference. And I'm very enthusiastic about it because I looked also, we've got, first of all, fantastic speakers. And on top of that, I've looked on internet about a bit about your life, what you do, United Hatzalah, and really I found it stunning. So I'm going to quickly present myself. I'm Diana Krief. I live in Geneva and I'm a kinesiologist. And the association is called ACD, which is for Association, Cooperation and Development. So cooperation, because one can cooperate, even just two people put together, and even associations or whatever. And so this is very important, right? Because we can have either an added value or otherwise put two organizations together who are interested in innovations. And Israel is very, very strong in innovations and technology, and also concerning the medical part. Sorry, have we got a problem with the... There is a sort of echo, Nicola. I'm sorry, I'm asking our technician because we've got an echo. I've got an echo over here. Nicola?
It was Amir. I turned off some micro.
Sorry,
yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot to mute mine. Okay, fine. You can continue.
Okay. Just a second, Victor. S'il te plaît. Sorry, just a second. Tu peux demander à Nicolas. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so that is for ACD. Now we have got our three panelists. We are going to start with Dov. Dov Maisel is someone really amazing, very, very amazing. I've read a bit of his CVs, what he's done in life. He's going to speak more about also United Hatzalah. He's a co-founder of United Hatzalah and also vice president of the operations. That means, Dov, we've lost you. Oh no, here you are. That's fine. Thank you very much. Thank you. So, Dov, you supervise United Hatzalah operation, the team of doctors and staff. You're an innovator also and a public speaker. And what I find also very fascinating is that you are an expert in disaster management. So I will leave the floor now to Dov. Dov might have to leave us before. So just that everyone knows, and if there are any questions, please put them, and if it's questions for Dov, and then we will ask Dov. And if ever, Dov, you need someone, either Amir or Cedric, to answer or say something, very easygoing. Okay, thank you very much.
We'll try to keep it informal. And then as we call our Orange Angel family, Cedric and Amir, we're all part of a 7,000 member family of lifesavers in Israel, coming from all communities, religions, and you know, it really is, it connects to the name, resonates with the name of the organization. Hatzalah is the Hebrew word for rescue, and what are we uniting? The cross-section of Israeli society. Everyone, men, women, Jews, Arabs, religious and secular, regardless of background, we have one common cause, and that is saving lives, which is really uncontroversial. And I say that our goal is saving lives, but one of the best byproducts that we have is building bridges amongst our communities here with this shared value. That said, the way we do this saving lives is through innovation, and innovation starting from perception of understanding that it's not ambulances that save lives, because you can wait for an ambulance 10, 15, 20 minutes, half an hour, and then there's nothing to save anymore, but rather it's people. And having 7,000 people like Amir, like Cedric, and thousands of others in the community being able to drop whatever they're doing and go and respond and be there within 90 seconds or 2 minutes, that's the difference between life and death. And that's what United Hatzalah does in Israel. And, and when we talk about innovation, it's not only about the concept, it's talking about our tools and what we do along the years to support this mission of 90-second response and innovation in the community. So just to put things into perspective, United Hatzalah responds to over 2,000 emergencies every single day. That's over 600,000 emergencies a year, cardiac arrests, car accidents, choking victims, babies that are choking, and things like that. And of course, unfortunately, terror attacks and the war-related response. But the day-to-day is regular emergencies, just like we have everywhere else in the world, except the difference is in Israel, we've beaten the clock, and people like Cedric and Amir and others are able to get there within 90 seconds to save that person which is in distress. And once they get there, they can connect with the defibrillator, they can give the EpiPen if it's an allergic reaction, start CPR, or stop the bleed. And this is the difference between life and death. But how can we get them there that fast? So we utilize a fleet of over 1,000 motorcycles, which are in the hearts of the cities, over 500 e-bikes that are able to nimbly move through traffic and get to the call, jump on the sidewalk, get back down. Cedric here has been driving a motorcycle and ambucycle for many, many years and as responsible, accountable for saving maybe thousands of lives already in Israel over the years, just by the ability to get on that motorcycle and get to the call within a minute and a half or 2 minutes and save the life. But how did Cedric get the information about the call? And that is our secret spice to the organization, and that connects to technology and innovation. Because going back to 2005, before the age of iPhone and smartphones, I as a paramedic back in the day was sitting in a hotel in Eilat and on a seminar, a professional seminar for paramedics. We were like 70 paramedics in this hotel, sitting in the dining room, and suddenly we see, and Eilat is like a southern city, it's about 300 kilometers away from where I live and work. And suddenly we see an ambulance team run through the lobby towards the swimming pool. So of course, as paramedics, we get up and we run over to see what we can help with. And they're running, they go to the swimming pool, and there was a person who's submerged in the swimming pool. We started CPR on him, and I asked the ambulance guys, how long did it take you to get here? They said 7 minutes. And I'm thinking to myself, we're sitting 70 paramedics, 30 seconds away. But our pagers and our radios and our beepers all were tuned to the Jerusalem station. So I'm not getting that information. Except my cell phone, which was the N95, the Nokia N95 back in 1995, was a very cool phone. It was a slider phone, it had a camera on it. And yeah, Cedric, you're laughing. But it also had a GPS component, except when you press the GPS, what happened? Absolutely nothing. It just showed the coordinates. And it occurred to me right there and then that if we can take this power of the satellite, which knows where my phone is, knows my coordinates, I take that on the one hand and identify where the emergency is on the other hand, and it doesn't matter where I work or live, if I can connect that emergency to that nearby responder, boom, we have a winner. So I wrote a whole notebook of ideas, and I went to a software company back in 2005 here and presented them with my idea of location-based dispatching, regardless of your pre-tuned frequency. And they came back to me about a month later with a beautiful pamphlet and presentation and said it's doable and it'll only cost you $1 million. So I was like, $1 million. So I go to Eli Beer, the president and founder of United Hatzalah, which is a real Michiganer, as we call it, a real crazy person, in a good way. Well, Michiganer is like, the wild form of audacity. And I told him, listen, we have to do this because this will revolutionize emergency response. And he said, okay, let's go out and start finding someone who's willing to fund this. And we went out and found a foundation that loved this concept of Israel innovation and life-saving, and they wrote us a check of $1 million. And
excuse me.
Sure.
Just a question. That means that it didn't exist before?
No, nothing
worldwide it does. So this is an Israeli invention?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'll tell you even more. 9 months later, at the end of 2005, we had a live living model of Uber. Uber or Lyft or any of these location-based activation services. We had this working before there even was an iPhone, and it was done off iDent technology, which was a Nextel and Motorola, and Symbian system that was running Nokia, and it worked, and we started saving lives within 2-3 minutes because the volunteer just got the beep on his phone, and we were actually one of the first apps that came out on an iPhone. When iPhone came out, it was called the Life Compass. Locating the person in the community-based emergency response. So it means I could be in Tel Aviv, or in Haifa, or in Jerusalem, or anywhere. And if there's an emergency right nearby me, my phone will go off and beep and say, there's an emergency 3 minutes away from you. You are the difference between life and death. And the only thing we weren't good at was writing patents back then. So clearly we didn't make the big round, but we've saved millions of lives using this technology since. And we, as United Hatzalah developed, we've always been trying to be ahead of the curve as technology develops. And then, like I said, in 2006, 2007, when iPhone came out, we were one of the first apps that was out there, focused on saving lives. In 2017, when we saw that radio communications is becoming complicated, and what we call POC, PTT over cellular, which is walkie-talkies, but based off of data. Exactly, Cedric is holding up one in his hand. I got mine over here. It's a radio that's based off of an Android device. And in 2017, we were one of the first pilot groups in the world utilizing PTT over cellular, which gave us much stronger stability and reduced cost and outreach, a much larger outreach, to get out to thousands of volunteers with this radio communications. And we're constantly moving forward in developing new CAD systems, communication with devices that enable us. When you call United Hatzalah, our 911 system over here when there's an emergency, the dispatcher, here Amir with us, is a dispatcher in headquarters, and he can tell you that when you call the emergency number, he'll tell you over the phone, ma'am or sir, you just got a link to your phone, press the link, and as soon as he presses the link, in dispatch, we can see your exact location. Amir can see on the screen live video feeding from your phone's camera, so he can instruct you how to perform CPR, how to stop the bleed, and how to save someone's life until the volunteer gets there. And if you can't speak, then he can text back and forth with you without needing to install any sort of app on your phone. All you gotta do is when you call the emergency hotline, immediately the volunteers and the dispatchers can assist you save your life there while dispatching the volunteers knowing your location. And now, fast forward to 2024, we're at our next milestone of revolutionizing emergency response. And you know, the big hot word is AI, and we couldn't sit back and just wait for somebody else to be ahead of us. And for the past year, we've been developing our AI-powered machine learning dispatching prediction, meaning we've been piloting for the past 4 months, and we'll be fully deploying by the end of this year our system, which actually predicts where the emergencies are going to be. Imagine knowing where the emergency is going to happen. I can immediately send a volunteer or an ambulance to stand and wait within a 3-minute polygon parameter to wait for the call to happen based off of data of 18 years of operation. And if you'll allow me, I'll share on the screen right now live from Jerusalem. Just a second. Let's see, we are here. And I'll share. Can you see the map? What are we seeing here? Yeah, can you see the map?
Yes.
Fantastic, great. So if you can see the cursor on the map, this is the map of Israel live right now as we speak. And when you see all these blobs on the screen, I'll try to zoom in. And we can see actual live calls happening right now in Israel, and a lot of circles. These circles, we'll go to Tel Aviv right now and look at Tel Aviv. We can see circles of prediction of where the next call will happen in the coming slice of 10 minutes apart, and calls coming in and giving us the ability to know where the next call will happen. And if we're talking about an accuracy level of between 90 and 95% in the metropolitan and the urban settings, meaning I, at a certainty of between 90 and 95% can predict where the next call will happen. And we see one live right now in front of us in Rishon LeZion, we can see where the prediction model, it was showing us where the call was gonna happen, and this bouncing bubble is a call that just came in right now, and it is a call of chest pains. And you can see the distance. If my ambulance would stand nearby the hotspot, we are less than 3 minutes away from the emergency. And we can look at these throughout the country. We've got different levels of severity of what the call will be. We have identification. Oh, just a second, let me zoom back out because it's live, it's bouncing. But we can see here in Haifa, you can see where the prediction model is showing us where the incident was gonna occur, right over here. And you can see the call that just came in right now of a car accident, literally 1.5 minutes away. So having that ability to know where these calls are gonna happen, and every minute a call comes in, because if you remember, I was talking about over 2,000 emergencies every single day. So that ability to mobilize units of ambulances, motorcycles, and volunteers to wait where the call is going to happen, that is the future of minimizing response and saving lives in Israel. And this is what United Hatzalah is all about. I filmed and forgot to say that everything that United Hatzalah does, I'll stop the share a second, come back to your screen, that everything that we do, 2,000 emergencies a day, over 1,000 motorcycles, 500 e-bikes, 100 ambulances, helicopters, everything that we do for free. We do it by volunteers and for free in the community. This is community-based emergency response. This is power of Israeli community and the amazing, beautiful people of Israel that simply care about each other.
It's, I tell you, I'm just, we say in French, je suis scotché. That means I can't move, you know, I'm sort of paralyzed like that, fixed, because it's incredible. The way, I mean, I wrote down the way it can be predicted just a few seconds before, like this, people can quickly go at the scene. And if I'm not mistaken, so if that is the case, that means that you are also able to predict more or less the sort of material that you need to bring along with you, whilst an ambulance will not be able to predict that. Is that right?
Well, technically, yes. We're not there yet. We're at the beginning. What we did now is in our work in the pipeline that will happen. Currently, we're focusing on getting a resource, meaning a volunteer with all of the equipment that's on an ambulance, that either on a motorcycle or in an ambulance or in a car, so they can be there immediately. So if a patient is choking or suffering cardiac arrest or is bleeding, we could be there within 90 seconds.
That's fantastic. Well, most probably you're dispatched also a bit everywhere in Israel. So as you've got 7,000 volunteers, so that means most probably that are dispatched and also perhaps in different communities. And we've got, you said you've got the motorcycles. I also saw that you've got, how can we say in English, sort of tout-terrain, these sort of small cars that can go also everywhere, where ambulances won't be able to go. Is that right or wrong?
The mini lances, yes, and actually, like, we're always trying to be frontiers in technology. We're also in cooperation with a company that's developing it's called the City Transformer, which is a vehicle that can change it transforms from a wider car to the width of a motorcycle. It's also an Israeli innovation company. They actually just presented recently in Paris in the motor vehicle show there. And we're trying to be ahead of the game. We're trying to find a solution. So in areas where traffic is worse and a car can't make it by, we'll have a motorcycle or an e-bike. If it's an e-bike is in areas where we have shopping malls. So you can't go with a motorcycle into the shopping mall. However, with the e-bike, you could go into the shopping mall even. So imagine if in the food arcade in the shopping mall, somebody suffers cardiac arrest. Even if the ambulance will get there fast to the door of the mall, it will still take them another 5 minutes or 7 minutes to get from the ambulance to the patient in the food court. And this way, with the e-bike, you can actually go in there and ride through the shopping mall and get there much faster to the patient and save his life.
This is fantastic. So it makes me think about something else, excuse me. As we are speaking about innovation, saving lives, which is very important, because one has to have a lot of empathy and compassion for our brothers and our sisters, and as you said, not caring from where they come, who they are, or anything. Do you have that? Is this technology, do you also use it in other countries? Does it also exist already in other countries? Or is it a special technology from Israel? Or is it an added value? Or what's...
The technology that we developed with a company called SIG, and we're in partnership with them on the development. The prediction is totally in-house, which we will be exporting eventually, and hope to help support our mission efforts here. Because the organization is sustainable today only based off of donations of charity. So we need to create revenue streams that are not based off of a charity alone to create sustainability. So we're constantly thinking of how our models and developments can then go to scale to market and then generate income, because our like I said, everything we do is for free, and that will never change, because we believe that anyone in need of medical assistance should be thinking about money.
Yeah.
Don't need to be worried about a bill, don't need to worry about insurance. And we find that one of the biggest motivators for the volunteers, for the doctors, the paramedics, the EMTs, to leave their house in the middle of the night or to leave whatever they're doing, is understanding that nobody's billing off of their back. This is a community effort to help each other.
That's fantastic. Thank you. Really, it's very, very impressive.
Thank you.
I find that very impressive. And as we are over here in Switzerland, perhaps I know, perhaps that will be afterwards for Cedric or for you. Do you already have different partnerships over here? Oh, and by the way, sorry, as you were speaking about donations, we are going to put afterwards, well, we'll put it already now on the screen. Here on the screen, on the right-hand side of everyone's screen, you can, on the discussion of webinar, this is our friend Victor who helps us with the website of ACD. You can see with the discussion of the webinar, you can see the address, and it is tax deductible. And I understood also that you've also got United Hatzalah in wherever you are, whether it be in France, in Paris, or many other countries. It is also tax deductible. We are going to put this on our website of ACD. That's association-acd.ch, and on projects, this is one of our projects that we support. So later on, it will be automatically on our website. So thank you very much. So if you would like to continue.
Yeah, so basically, well, I lost my train of thought already.
I asked you if you were cooperating with Switzerland, what was happening.
So Cedric will be able to speak
Very good.
About Switzerland, as I think he has some relation. He's our ambassador, and we do partnerships, and we share. First of all, amongst volunteer organizations, we share this as a mission, as a shared mission. But the idea is really to create partnerships also with official agencies that can value from the experience that we've accumulated on this side of the world.
Thank you. I see that they got me a question over here. Actually, a few questions. So this one, they say, is to Dov, as I was speaking about disasters. I was told also, do you deal with psychotraumatic disasters and the disasters worldwide? What happens? We often see that Israel is also, for instance, the earthquake in Turkey, Haiti, I know also in the Far East. And what is it written over here? That Israel, you're often one of the first, but you're also the last to leave because you want to settle people down and not just leave them like that.
So what we do basically is we don't stay long term. We're an emergency response organization. We're not a humanitarian long-term support organization. What we know how to do is basically get there fast, where it takes countries and emergency response teams from around the world and the countries to respond. We know how to mobilize very, very fast, and within 24 hours, be boots on ground with volunteers. It was both in Turkey, we had a team of over 40 search and rescue and medical team on the ground in Turkey and Gaziantep in the earthquake that hit Turkey and Syria just over about a year and a half ago. And same for Morocco, which was literally 1 year ago. Last year on Rosh Hashanah, our team was in Morocco when there was an earthquake there. A team of 30 search and rescue and psychotrauma responders there. So we know how to actually fit in for the first week or two or three, and then hand over to the relief organizations that come. It takes them longer to get organized, but once they're on the ground, we'll hand over to them, because we don't know how to maintain a long-term operation offshore outside of Israel, as that's not our primary mission. Our primary mission is just like in Israel. Our mission is to get there within 90 seconds and save lives, and then hand over to the ambulance of the government that might come 20 minutes later. Same as international disasters. We're there within hours or 24 hours, and then we'll hand over after a few days or a week or two to the long-term relief organizations.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so shall we continue? Have you got anything else to say? You can stay with us, of course. You're most welcome.
I apologize. I have to leave to the next
Yeah.
session here.
Okay, thank you very
so
much.
for having me. And then I'm actually, honestly, I'm leaving you with two better people than me. Both of you
Very good.
are
Very
better
good.
than I am.
Very good. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dov. And it was
Shalom.
excellent. Thank you very much. Bye. Have a nice evening. Bye.
Shalom,
Bye.
shalom.
Shalom. So thank you very much. That's fantastic. Claire, our interpreter, I hope that everything is okay for you. I know that Dov speaks very quickly. Hope it was okay. So now, if you don't mind, we will pass to Amir. You're with us, Amir?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very, very well. Thank you very much. So, Amir, your family name is Hashlamon, and you're also...
That's right.
Thank you. You're also a paramedic, and you're
Yes.
United Hatzalah since 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And you live in East Jerusalem in the neighborhood of Tor. Is that right?
Yeah, which is Mount of Olives. Maybe most of the people know it as Mount of Olives.
The Mount of Olives. Oh, that's...
It's the same neighborhood. It has two names. The name of the neighborhood is Atur, which is this neighborhood is on Mount of Olives. So some people call it Mount of Olives and some people call it Atur.
Okay, I didn't know that, because I thought that olives would have to do something with zaytun or something like that.
It's the same. Like in the name in Arabic, it's Atur, and the name in Arabic is Jabal Zaytun. Zaytun means olives for sure, and Jabal is mountain.
Okay, thank you very much. So, you know, Amir, I looked you up on internet, and immediately I had a very, very big smile, because I liked what you wrote and what you said. You said, I'm a proud Arab Muslim medic, volunteer for United Hatzalah. Then you added family.
Yeah.
And I like that very much, because that's the way I like to work also. And I found that very heartwarming, and which shows really the characteristic of United Hatzalah. And I was impressed. So, Amir, the floor is to you.
Thank you so much. So I start with my name again. Just my name is Amir. Amir Hashlamon is my full name. I live in Mount of Olives, where you said it's the neighborhood of Atur. It's one of the neighborhoods in East Jerusalem. And when I say East Jerusalem, for sure now we talk about Jerusalem as one city. East Jerusalem and West Jerusalem, there are no borders between the eastern side and the western side of the city. But when we say East Jerusalem, it doesn't mean that everything to the east of Jerusalem is East Jerusalem. When we say East Jerusalem, is where the majority of the people that live there are the Arabs. And West Jerusalem are the Jews, but that for sure, that doesn't mean that only Arabs live there or only Jews live there. It's the majority here and the majority there on the other side. So as I said, I can start with this, as you mentioned, as I mentioned before, like United Hatzalah for me is a family more than like, a normal organization, because it's a place where you will find people from different backgrounds, from different faiths and religions together. They were somehow gathered and came together for one main goal, which is saving people's lives. And as Dov mentioned before, like when we save lives, for us, it doesn't matter. No matters who's the person that would save his life. I think that I can expect that most of the people that I saved their lives, they were Jewish Israelis more than Arabs, because I spent most of my time in West Jerusalem, not in East Jerusalem. That's why I'm talking about East Jerusalem and West Jerusalem and the majority. And I'm a tour guide as well. Maybe this is like something for sure it's written there as well. And as a tour guide, it's very important. Yeah.
Can I say something? It's true. I let you mention that. I had read it, and I'd like to tell our people, our audience, that when they go to Jerusalem or when they go to Israel, we've got a fantastic tour guide.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amir.
For sure, you are all welcome, like at any time, always, hopefully in better days, that everyone will come and feel safe here, which is safety is very important. As medics, paramedics, doctors with United Hatzalah, and as tour guides as well, safety comes first before anything. And this is what we hope that we will get soon, safety again and security. And that's like the people will be welcome again to come and visit and enjoy all the sites that we have here in our beautiful country. So, as I said, nowadays and since October 7th, because, with the current situation, no more tourists are coming. That's why I'm giving more of my time to United Hatzalah, not only as a volunteer in the field, but as the dispatcher in the dispatch center. Why in the dispatch center? Because I speak different languages. Like I speak Arabic and Hebrew fluently, these two languages. I speak English and I speak Turkish as well. So with 4 languages, it's very important to be part of the dispatch center and be a dispatcher there, because, with the calls that we get, the emergency calls, we need as much as people who speak languages. Yeah. So that's why, since I have more time, there are no more tourists coming. I'm not guiding to groups anymore. So I'm given more time in the dispatch center. And I was talking about, I mentioned that because I wanted to talk about me as a tour guide as well, as a tour guide and a paramedic volunteer with United Hatzalah. As the Dov said before, I have my own first aid kit, the advanced one with everything that I need. I have my own defibrillator as well. And this is very important when I am guiding a group of people. Let's say that I have a group of 50 people with what I say 50 people, like one big bus, and they are with me almost all the time. And it's always that I have the first aid kit and defibrillator. So that's like if there will be any need for that, I have the equipment that I need, and I'm a paramedic that know what to do exactly, especially when we visit the national parks or the biblical sites that there are far from the center of the cities or the towns. So, like sometimes you're visiting a site which is far away, where in an area where an ambulance needs maybe 30 or 40 minutes at least to get there when you're far away, especially in the biblical sites, which is far, as I said. And this is very important and an advantage. And I always talk about that and mention that the first day when I start introducing myself and like speaking to the group, telling them I'm a paramedic as well. I have my first aid kit, I have my own defibrillator, and I always make this joke and I tell them, anyone here, you can feel free to get a heart attack and I'll be here for you to save you. So what I'm saying here, it's really an advantage, and it helps me a lot, and it makes the people, because like I spend most of the time with the groups guiding the people, I feel that they feel safe while they are with me, that if anything will happen, just in case, we have someone here who's our tour guide that can help as well. And to talk more about our family here in United Hatzalah and why I call it a family, as I said, because we are here, Jews, Christians, Muslims, Jews, and others with that one main goal. And especially in these times when everything is really difficult, this is a difficult time. Everything it's a complex with the current situation and the war that is taking place in the area. And we can't avoid this. We can see that obvious and clear here that there is more hatred than before. And this is a problem that we have. But here in United Hatzalah, it's almost that like I can feel that we are one of the special places where you can feel that, because here we have human beings, only human beings. People care about saving people's lives. And still, we're doing the same thing. Maybe that was a big challenge for most of the people here, the people who are living here together, to continue this coexistence, to continue working together and helping each other. But here in United Hatzalah, I think that was we almost maybe the only people that was not a challenge for us, because this is our mission. And don't forget, most of the people in United Hatzalah are volunteers and not workers. So you're talking about people that the people that are choosing to be here, choosing to be part of it and do what they are doing. Because what I mean, and I'm going to say that most of the people here, even when they respond to an emergency call or an emergency situation, it's optional. It's not the must. No one force you to, when you Dovi showed you the people that we have, which is this, you can say, beeper or machine or whatever, or mobile that we get these calls on, and you see it. And it's optional, that you can press the button and say that I'm on my way, or just like to reject it. But as volunteers, it's that you know that someone nearby needs help, and it's optional for you. But as optional as it is, we always choose to help, because you know that you're a person that you can help. You have the equipment that you need for helping. So you always, as a human being, that you're not working there. It's not your job. You are a volunteer, and you know that you can help. You have chosen to be there. So I'm talking about myself personally, my experience, that I know when something is happening here nearby around me, and I can just rush to there and be there in a minute or 2 minutes, while I know that an ambulance will need at least 4 or 5 minutes. Which is like, if the ambulance will be there like really quickly, the ambulance will need like a couple of minutes, which is like, if I can say that this is fast, but for sure I'm faster, because I know that it's there, it's not somewhere nearby. And this is what so we're doing all the time. Yeah.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate that very much, because you said something that is very important. And this also goes with the aims of ACD, is that very often one hears speaking about things that don't work in the world and don't work amongst people, especially nowadays when we see already with Russia, with
Ukraine,
and I'm thinking of many other places also in Africa. I'm born in Africa, by the way. And also in South America. And I don't know how many hundreds of conflicts there are actually in the world. And it's very often what I see is that division is made, even in the media, about everything, as if people have to take sides. And what is really fantastic with what you just said is that, on the contrary, it's to show something, that there is something good that happens. And this, it's just one has to just want to do it, and it is possible. It's absolutely possible.
Yeah, I believe that what we are doing here in United Hatzalah is a model that many people around the world can learn from this model of how you can find something in common, something that can bring all the people together. You need an aim, you need a goal there, and you have to bring all the people for this one main goal. So for sure, all the people will be focusing on that. There is no one that, like, if you need help, if your beloved people need help, if your parents, your family, your children, and like I can tell you these personal stories that we're almost living every day. When I'm just like here and there is an emergency call nearby, and the house that I need to get to help the people there are like Jewish Israelis, and I'm an Arab. Do you think now they know that I'm a person that is arriving and entering their house to help their beloved people? There is no space for hatred here, even if you have it there inside, because this person, you know that he's here to help. And on the other hand, for sure, when a Jewish volunteer is entering to an Arab house, like even if this house is thinking about the other side, let's say as an enemy, but wait, he's coming to save my life or my parents' life, my children's life. Like it's a place where there is no way that or a space for hatred there. So it's always why I'm saying this is a model, because when we feel that we're losing this hope and we're looking for something, we need this something that can bring all the people and come and like, you know, lives. We're saving
Absolutely.
people's life and helping. That's why. Yep.
Thank you very, very much. I appreciated that, and it's very touching. It's very touching. Thank you.
Thank you.
I see also that I've got a few questions over here, so I don't know whether we should go directly to Cedric, and then afterwards I can bring out the questions, or have you got something? Yes?
No, I mean, if we can get the questions, I
Yes.
prefer to get them now. Yeah.
Okay, so there are a few questions over here.
Is it fine, Cedric, that you wait a couple of minutes?
Sure.
It's
Thank
okay
you.
for you, Cedric? Okay. So I've got a few questions over here. If you can tell me how, okay, well, there are different questions. There is one about Russia, for instance, do you work in Russia? Do you work in Ukraine? This is one of the questions. Another one is, I don't understand this one very well. I'll just say it as it is. Which are the criterias for the provisions? On what is set for these provisions, the artificial intelligence, etc. Then there's another question that what are the various? Yes.
Probably that was a question for Dovi when he talked about the statistics that we can predict and know when this will be.
Yes, so
I think so. Yeah, but I probably can give the answer because
okay.
Dovi was talking about like it's like in the last 18 years, this is a project that we could somehow study and get to all of these numbers and emergency calls and cases that took place in the last 18 years. And using statistics, we can predict and expect where the next emergency calls will be. And we're talking about almost 70 to 80%. This is the percentage that we could get after that. But yeah, that we really can know and predict where these emergency calls will be. So it's how we can send our volunteers or somehow notify them or send the ambulances to be in the area around. And it happens. So in a minute or 2 minutes, you see that there is an emergency call in this area that you send the ambulance to. And instead of the ambulance to be there, let's say in 5 minutes, the ambulance is already there in the area, and the ambulance can get there in a minute, for example.
Okay, thank you very much. Very, very interesting. And I've got another message, and then perhaps we'll surely pass to Cedric. So I've got a message over here from someone who knows you, Amir. And
someone knows me?
Yes, it's Michael. Your CEO
Hello.
in Geneva. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Mike.
Yes, so I met Michael actually in Geneva. We've contacted each other. We've spoken a few times to each other. And so Michael says that the tourists have had very good experiences with you. And
yeah, I remember, yeah, they were like his friends that joined
very positive.
One of the tours.
So for sure, I don't know Jerusalem so well. And so next time in Israel, and hopefully I do some post-trauma when I come to Israel, but hopefully next time it won't be for post-trauma, it will be just for enjoyment. And then
Hopefully.
I'll come and I'll contact you in advance. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
So we'll go to Victor is just arranging me the scene. Thank you very much. The screen. Okay. Claire is our interpreter. She's fantastic. She's got an excellent job because she's doing it all by herself. I hope everything is okay, Claire. So, yes, Cedric. So you are Swiss. I'll let you perhaps speak about yourself. I did note a few things because, of course, I went on internet to see what you had to tell us.
Let's hear what you found.
Well, what I found is that you did your university in St. Gallen.
Yes, correct.
And you're an entrepreneur and you do startups in technology, innovation. And it's been over 10 years that you are an ambucycle first responder for United Hatzalah.
Correct.
Okay,
correct. So first of all, thank you very much for having me here. And, it's always nice to kind of like combine these two countries that I feel at home. One is obviously Israel and Switzerland, where I was born and raised. And for me, that like, it's always like nice when these two worlds combine and clash into each other. So thank you very much for giving us the opportunity here. As you said, I've been with United Hatzalah for 10 years. So I've seen this organization grow from a couple of hundred volunteers to thousands of volunteers, from a couple of ambucycles to hundreds of ambucycles. And it's really inspiring to see how this organization works. And I mean, the only thing I want to add to what Amir said is like, it's one of my core, I would say, values and dreams and hopes that one day, everybody can live together here in peace. And especially, we try to live this already now within the model of United Hatzalah. And I have to say, like, it's I've been in Israel for many years, and I have to say it's really unfortunate that the first Palestinian I met was actually in Switzerland, and we had coffee. And I really hope that the model that we have at United Hatzalah is going to be a little bit of light in this really difficult times. So again, for me, like, I started volunteering because, as you said, I've been in technology and startups for many years, and I was looking for a little bit of an outlet of a balance in my life, how I can bring in, like, sitting in front of a computer, talking to entrepreneurs, but also how I can actually help people in the moment when they're in need. So I have zero background in medicine. So I'm not like a paramedic like Amir. I'm in finance, I'm in startups, venture capital. That's where I'm at home. But I always bring this with me. So I always have my it's more like a smartphone, but it used to be more like a walkie-talkie. And I have always my ambucycle. I'm actually on my 4th ambucycle. So I've had 4 already where I was able to drive them. So which is very exciting. And every time I get another one, like, you see the improvement Hatzalah is making in terms of technology, in terms of equipment, in terms of efficiency, and obviously, most important, also our safety in getting to the patients as quickly as possible. And I would say that, like, what I can kind of like see is these two countries, Israel and Switzerland, how they can really combine their strength and their forces. And what I have been, kind of like seeing over the last few years when I've been in between these two worlds, I'm not sure if I mentioned, but I live in Israel and I work in Switzerland, in Zurich, in finance. And this combination, I think there's so much opportunity there to learn from each other and to see. I just want to give you a couple of examples. Dov talked about already a lot about like technology, and which obviously is a very important topic, how these two countries can learn from each other. But I want to take it a little bit to a different direction. One of the things is that I always find so fascinating is the differences between the perfection of so many aspects of life in Switzerland and the balagan that we find sometimes in Israel. And I think these two things.
Excuse me, just for Claire to understand what balagan means.
Balagan is
It's a mess. And that's the way Israel works.
Yeah.
Everyone does everything and everyone has to cope.
Correct.
And that's the Israeli balagan.
But I want to put it into a positive light, because I think that one side is a little bit too messy and the other side is a little bit too perfect. So like, I think this combination of like looking at each other and saying like, hey, why is Israel so successful with startups, innovation? And why is Switzerland so organized? The trams and everything comes on time, and the streets in Geneva and in Zurich are spotless clean. So how can we, these two countries, and this is just like a very basic, I think, how can we learn from each other? And I think this is like where I see this opportunity between these two countries is so big. And again, like if you think about it, like a little bit more of a just statistics. I mean, like Switzerland has been around for hundreds of years. Israel has been around for we're getting closer to 80 years. But like, if you think about this, this is a miracle how far Israel has come in this short time. And nevertheless, I think it's always good to learn from, let's say, more experienced countries, more experienced people who has been living in a country that has been, I would say, most of the time significantly quieter and calmer than Israel. So this is like these aspects that like always fascinate me when I combine these two countries, and I can see like how they could work together. And I would say also, like in terms of the like just the demographics, if you look at Israel and you look at Switzerland, they have more or less equal amount of population, more or less the same size, are both heavily relying on service and human power versus, let's say, natural and oil. And I think there's so many different things. And I think this multicultural, I grew up in Zurich, and like there was never like a question like for me to be Jewish among a lot of non-Jewish people. We had people of other religions, we had people of color, obviously, we have people of every kind of things. And in Israel, this seems to be still like, like a division, especially coming from the media, that I feel that we in Hatzalah are role models and hopefully a little beacon of light for making this like hopefully the status quo in the near future.
Yes, thank you. It's very interesting what you said about Switzerland, because it makes me think, well, in how are you able to communicate? Is there something that is done over here with Switzerland? Is there how does it work? Is there an organization with whom you work where you can share your added values that you put, for instance, United Hatzalah, in contact also with different associations over here in Switzerland, that Switzerland works also has partnership with United Hatzalah in Israel? Is there something already going on, or is something being created?
Yeah, my goal is to support the organization as much as I can. And what we're trying to do, and we've done it several times, we organize events, we organize meetings, and we try to get really the thought leaders to hear about the organization, who then spread the word. So we look for these people that are willing to talk about the organization. For us, it's really important that that Hatzalah is part of let's say the responsibility that we see that we have as individuals, is really to show that this is what Israel is like. Israel is very little about, I would say, what you can read in the media is probably about 1% of what Israel is all about. But if we are the representation of this model, of this role models that we want to be, of this coexistence, how beautifully Amir said it before, of living together, of being a, I would say even a nation where everybody is welcome and everybody is able to live a peaceful life in unity. And I think I do believe, and I really truly believe it's not going to be solved in the next year or two, but I really hope that within a generation or two that we have this situation in Israel where people can live together. That's my deep belief and my real hope, and that's what we're here for. We are spreading this idea of, yes, we are saving lives, but we also have the bigger picture of bringing Israel to the next step.
Thank you. And that's exactly what I feel with when Amir spoke and when you're speaking. Yeah. And it's very heartwarming. I tell you, it's really, there's a lot of compassion in both of you, a lot of empathy, and this is really fantastic. and you share it, you bring it out in your speech already, both of you, when you speak. And I totally agree with you. I think that the media at the end is, I don't even look at that, because what you are doing, this is something constructive. And this is really the best thing. I think we've got another few questions. Excuse me, because I see Victor came.
I can tell you like that, generally speaking, you know, I'm frank, I'm honest about this. Like, I grew up being primarily scared of Arabs. And this is not like because anybody is everybody's a bad person, not at all. It's just like the way I grew up. And because of the leadership of United Hatzalah, who is really demonstrating of like, hey, listen, it's possible. I would say like we are really able to get through these very tough division and build this future, especially for our children. I mean,
yes,
for us, I mean, that's selfish, but like also for our children and the future generations.
I tell you, I just feel like jumping into it. Now
Sure.
yes, it suits with me as a person who I am, so that's very good. Well, that's why I also did this association. I founded this association, ACD, because I wanted to show the bright things of what is happening. And as you say, there are so many wonderful things. And as Amir said too, we're just one big family. And when you're in Israel, you feel it. You really feel that. And this, even if there's a big mess, a big balagan, but that's the way it is. So I know that if you don't mind, because Victor wrote to me over here, a small question also, I don't know who wants to answer. On the 7th of October, you most probably had much more urgencies, and you had first responders. You're a first responder. Amir is a paramedic. So how, you know, as I heard before from both of you and from Dov also, you're in practically, as you're so many, you're dispatched in all the country. You're in many communities. So do you want to speak about it? If you don't want to speak about it, of course, you don't have to.
So I mean, in the community that I am in, so like we live in
Dispatch center.
Sorry?
What?
On the 7th of October 2023, because as United Hatzalah is in many communities, I've got a question over here. Is what happened? Were you also one of the first to be over there? Is there anything to say about that, or you prefer not to? It's as you wish, huh? It's just a question over here.
No, it's fine. Do you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So I can start talking about this myself because I work in the dispatch center. The day of and why I'm talking about especially about the dispatch center, because it's where exactly the story has started. Because the story has started with the calls, the emergency calls that United Hatzalah started getting on that day, and it was on Saturday. And on Saturday, you know, like I'm talking about our Jewish colleagues and friends in the dispatch center, that on Saturday, which is Shabbat. So you need the Arab volunteers there that work in the dispatch center, and I'm one of them. Like our role is very important there on Saturday, and October 7th started on Saturday. So the Arab volunteers, who were the first dispatcher that they started getting and answering the calls on October 7th. And after that, when we started realizing that what is happening is something not normal, and something is really very big and even huge what is taking place. And after that, we needed to tell and to inform, for example, the one, like even, I was like talking about 6:30. So the one that was responsible, I mean, like the manager or the head of the dispatch center on that time, his name was Ron.
We are losing you.
So he did.
Amir, we are losing you.
What?
Yeah, now it's better because we lost you for a
Okay,
few
do you hear me?
seconds. Yes.
Fine. Yeah. So most of the workers that were working there, and it's what we do usually on Saturday, are Arabs. So we started getting these calls. I was not there on October 7th.
Amir, we've lost you again. We've lost you.
Maybe because
You're on the Mount of Olives.
okay, I see, because I'm just like there nearby, that's why. Wait, do you hear me
Yes,
now? Is it
yes.
better now? Fine. So on that day, I'm talking about the Arab workers in the dispatch center, the Arab dispatchers that started getting the first calls of what happened on October 7th. Even the manager, the head of the team at the dispatch center on October 7th was Ramzi, who's an Arab as well. So, and then when they started realizing what is happening there, so they informed the others, and even the Jewish Israelis started getting the calls, because this is an emergency situation that we need as much people to respond and answer these calls. So what I'm saying, myself, that day I was guiding a group, and I was lucky enough that I was guiding the group in Jerusalem. That's why it took me 2 hours, because that day all the groups, all the tourists had to be evacuated from that day. So it took me 2 hours that I made sure that my group were evacuating. They even the airport was not safe. That's why they took their way to Jordan. So they crossed the bridge, which is like the border between. There are 3 borders between Israel and Jordan. One of them is Alembi. So they crossed through Alembi Bridge to Jordan, and this is how they were evacuated. So it took me 2 hours just to finish that, and I rushed to the dispatch center on the day of October 7th. I was there at 8:30 a.m. But the first 2 hours before I got there, the first responders, the first people who answered these calls were the Arabs, because that was on Saturday. And this is what I mean. So as an experience of my personal experience and the experience of the other Arab volunteers and dispatchers and workers, we found ourselves the real first responders there to get there. And then for sure, we delivered and we transported all of the information to the other dispatchers and later to the volunteers who rushed to the scene on October 7th, and they started helping, treating, and in the end, like for sure, as a result, hundreds of lives were saved on October 7th by the volunteers of United Hatzalah.
Thank you very, very much. It must have been
I wanted to focus on the Arab part of this, because like this is a personal experience, and I will give now Cedric the way to talk about.
Absolutely. You said something that I wouldn't even have thought of. I'm secular, so I wouldn't have thought of something like that. So thank you very much. Very good testimonial. Yes, Cedric.
Yeah, I mean, from my side, we were, at home. It was the Jewish holiday of Simchat Torah, so we were just at home with the family. We were about to go to the synagogue, and all of a sudden, because I'm I have my phone on me, so we heard from the dispatcher that there was some incident, and we should be the ones making sure that if there are medical emergencies in our towns, we should be there. And shortly after, around 10:30, 11 in the morning, we got a call that they need at the hospital, which is Tel HaShomer Sheba Hospital, which is not close to us, to where we live, that they need some support with bringing injured people from the United Hatzalah helicopter into the hospital. They ran out of staff. So we had a couple of guys who went, and then we were busy in the afternoon helping my brother-in-law to get ready for the army.
Okay. And excuse me, Eli Beer, who was also, I know that there's a story with Eli Beer also or is that something else? He's your founder, the founder also of United Hatzalah, but is it the same person or is it someone else that was stuck also in near the kibbutzim over there, and
No. Probably you're talking about someone else. Eli
Okay.
Beer is the founder and the president of United Hatzalah. On October 7th, when I got to the dispatch center, Eli Beer was there. He was there before me because Eli Beer lives like 10 minutes away from the dispatch center near the center of Jerusalem. So he got first to the dispatch center when he knew about what is taking place there. Probably you're talking about someone else.
most probably. Thank you for correcting me. Now I have got a personal question. Well, I see that, they're telling me that our time is practically over. So perhaps we'll just do a short conclusion. If ever you've got anything else to say, please go ahead. I would like to also conclude. First of all, I will let you speak, and then afterwards I'll quickly make a small conclusion. Anything? Okay, so the floor is to me.
I can talk as long as you need, you know.
Pardon?
I can talk for as long as you need me to talk.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, afterwards we can communicate together, okay? But I think, like this, we let the audience go and eat, and they can always write to us, of course, on our website or to whoever they want. And so first of all, thank you very, very much. And thank you for the excellent job that you are doing. And I noticed that it's really a community work, which is fantastic because it's really person to person. You're very near to the people. This is something fantastic. You also have what the people need on the ground. You're really the first ones over there. And I would like to thank you. I would also like to thank Claire, who is our interpreter. She lives in Paris. She's been working the whole day, and she finished her work at 6:30. And she was kind enough to come and say, yes, I'm going to do this fantastic job. So thank you very much, Claire. Thank you, Amir.
Thank you so much.
Cedric. Thank you, Dov. And thank you
so much.
to United Hatzalah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you. And please, for everyone, don't hesitate. You will have on our website, you will have the different bank accounts to be able to donate for the one who wants. There is no obligation, of course, but you're most welcome with the fantastic work that you do. So thank you, everyone, and see you next time.
Thank you.
Another
Thank you so much. See you next time.
evening.
Hopefully next time you come and visit us. in
With
Jerusalem.
pleasure. I will. Now that I know you, I'm going to jump over. Thank you very much. Thank you,
Thank you so
everyone.
much. Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. Keep
Bye.
well. Keep well. Keep safe.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.